Welcome to StarCard Podcast. At StarCard Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. You've tuned in to a live tarot throw. If you would like, you can join the chat and request or suggest a tarot reading. Meanwhile, as usual, I have 3 planned. I'm going to do a welcome tarot throw, and then I have some discussion about consciousness, education, and then finally we'll do the goodbye aloha throw. I'm sure the tarot world has some great words of wisdom to offer us today. After all, this is the 2nd day in a row I'm going live, and I'm getting up awful early to turn on this camera. So before we go to the tarot cam, let me just check my notes, please. Oh, so I have this idea about Breakaway Readers Theater. I have a couple of scenes I've written. I may have mentioned this before. I'm an amateur playwright, and I was wondering if there's anybody out there who's viewing, would like to participate in Readers Theater. I would provide you with a script, and all the scenes tell something about the Secret Space program. So far, that's the scenery that I have so far. Those are the scripts that I've been working on. So if you're interested, please find my email address in the chat, in the description. And you can also visit the companion channel, the backup channel, Tarot with Breakaway Ray, ! That's also on YouTube. We do have a presence on Rumble, but there's nothing up there yet. I'm trying hard just to get things going here on YouTube. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Let's bust out the tarot cards and do our first welcome reading. All right. Let's go to the tarot cam. So, voila, there we are. All right, hang on. And if you're joining me today from wherever and whenever you are, thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you have a good day. And I hope I can offer you some entertainment and maybe some something to think about to brighten your day and carry you forward, right? All right. So thank you to the tarot deck for delivering all these great messages. Maybe the tarot deck in the spirit world, you would like to offer a welcome and a hello to all of our viewers today. And thank you again to all of our subscribers. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear. No matter what time you're waking up early. No matter what time people wake up, I feel like it's early waking up. So I may wake up earlier than most people do, but I'm sure like if you have a night shift and you got to get up, it's time to get up, and I'm sure it feels like it's too early. But anyway, here we are trying to get our day started. The tarot world, spirit world has some messages for us. All right, thank you. Today's theme is education. We got some observations to share in a little bit. Sometimes I would just obviously throw cards by myself here, but it's not too hard to turn on the camera, put on a tie, because if someone's tuning in, chances are we have something in common. Maybe the cards can help all of us. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. I've been waiting a couple of hours to do this part. Here I go. All right, it's the 5 of Pentacles. I'm going to read right what it says on the card. And, you know, again, I'm getting a little bit inspired when I'm looking at the artwork. These people look like, I realize that one person in the red there looks like they're destitute. The other person looks like they're physically challenged. But it also kind of looks like people getting out of bed in the morning. I'm sure that's how some people feel. Okay, so let's see what it says here. Financial loss, lack of mindset, loss, isolation, worry, need, poverty, and insecurity. So not exactly uplifting yet. The best news is, of course, that that's just the beginning. There's nowhere to go but up. Let's go to the next card. I'm trying to get some good light here for you. There we go. Maybe that'd be better. All right. Next up, okay. So now we have the Six of Wands, which is public recognition. Look at how proudly that person rides that horse, and everyone's standing at attention. All the weapons are collected and shown off. It's like a salute for this guy. I always call this the ticker tape parade car. That's an interesting juxtaposition. We'll have to revisit this. Maybe there's more to say right here. All right, this makes things easy. This is the wish come true card. The Nine of Cups is the celebration card. All right. Simple thoughts here. Wheel of Fortune, luck. Okay. Six of Swords, being divinely guided into calmer waters. That is to say, you might be thinking, gee, things are kind of rough. But yeah, the spirit world is guiding you to those calmer waters. You may not see what's going on, but that's what's going on. All right. And you're moving forward. There is a Chariot moving forward every day. So let's see if I can recapitulate what's going on. This is a welcome message. A welcome message. Well, you're talking about the opposite ends of a spectrum here. These people are unrecognized, and this person is recognized. These people are unrecognized and need help. This person is recognized. Maybe there's somebody out there who sometimes feels like I do, that, the spirit world could be hard to believe in. This is a little bit of a lack of mindset. When we're undergoing such challenges and such problems, where is the universe? But then, if you ask, you're going to be recognized. And in fact, you're being recognized the whole time. The universe is probably just waiting for you to ask for help. Don't forget to ask for help. I feel like I say that a lot when I'm podcasting, but that's a message that I need to learn. Anyway, let's move on. So yeah, don't feel impoverished. The universe is recognizing you. You can make your wish come true. Luck can be part of your life, because the spirit world is guiding you to calmer waters. So keep moving forward. Follow your soul's path. Do what brings you joy. Follow the path of grace and ease. Well, there is the Nine of Swords. I'm going to revisit this guy in a minute. We're getting some serious emotion swings here. Yeah, there's the Emperor. I like that card. Who doesn't? And, oh, sweet. Well, here's the Ace of Wands. There's magic in the air. This feels like communication with the spirit world. This is not something that I did for most of my life. The tarot cards have really helped bring it out in me. So maybe the final message for all of us with this welcome throw is that no matter how terrible things may seem to get, you still have the power, and together with the spirit world, you can make magic happen. All right, I kind of like that. So, yeah, I think I've covered it all. That was pretty intense, but I feel like the tarot deck gets better all the time. They provide powerful messages. The more I turn those cards over. So let me give you a quick shuffle, and then I would like to go to my notes, and let's go back to the headshot there. All right, here we go. So what I want to share, I made some notes because I want to talk about consciousness. I want to talk about consciousness in education. As you know, or maybe you'd like to know, since you're tuning in, I have a bunch of teaching credentials and college degrees, spent more than 30 years in the classroom, and apparently at least 10 years going to night school, getting extra degrees and stuff. So I have some observations to make, and it has to do with the use of technology in the classroom. And I don't think anyone would disagree with me. I mean, you could see thousands of videos on this all over the internet that the computers and screen time affect people's brains. And when you're younger, it affects them in a greater way. I heard a story that there's these exclusive prep schools up in the Bay Area of California, you know, where all those tech moguls are, and their children go to these schools, and these schools do not allow electronics. And I think the basic idea is, who is programming the mind? Are we going to let some anonymous person with a computer who never meets the child introduce things that alter the brain chemistry and the way the child behaves? Or are we going to set that aside and interact with one another face to face, which is funny to say when I'm podcasting like this? Or better yet, are we going to teach our children to turn inward? Because, well, we have a lot of powers in our own consciousness that we are not using. And in fact, we are yielding to these programmers, the people who put the stuff on our screens, whether it's the TV or the phone or the laptop or the computer. The people that are putting stuff on our screens are the ones doing the programming. And you can decide, well, yeah, you could channel surf and you could pick which channels you like. Good luck trying to find things that are educational and uplifting and raise your consciousness. And if you have found them, congratulations. I have a tough time finding those. But at the same time, it's still somebody else. I don't know. How many times have you said, oh, I can't wait till the next show comes out. I hope it's going to be really good. But then, you know, you're kind of let down at the end. You wish it was a little bit better. And probably because you can imagine how it could have been better, right? Playing a little Monday morning quarterback with whatever programming you're watching. Well, guess what? Your imagination can create lots of things. Why don't you go create something? And watch how it transforms your perspective on the world around you when you create more rather than intake more. All right, so let me go back to my notes real quick. We talked about the exclusive prep schools that don't allow electronics. Let me check and see what else I had to say here. Oh, yes. Okay, so I started teaching in the 1990s, and back then we had this thing, I think we still use this term, called sponge activities. You know, what if a student is done with their work, how can we enrich their time? And I'm not talking about coloring. Okay? So I don't know if there's any teachers who are still working, you know, who used to work in the 1990s. They might remember what sponge activities are like. You have to become an expert at games and crafts and creative writing and art and things like that, things that help children express themselves and learn about themselves and even manage their own emotions. Because let's face it, if you have a population in a workspace, a happy population means you have a happy environment. So as time went on, especially right around the year 2020, when we all had to, it was mandatory that we had to teach classes via Zoom or video conferencing. Well, everything shifted to a technological type of sponge activity. So when you were done with your work, well, there was this program you could do, and there was this program you can do. And let's face it, it's pretty two-dimensional. You know, it's not even that much fun for the kids because the graphics and the games themselves that the kids are supposed to play to learn, okay, they're not even like 1/5 as exciting as the ones they're playing at home. And it's barely as interesting as doing something fun in the classroom. So when I talk about sponge activities like games and crafts and things like that, over the years, at minimum, you're building your file cabinet of all these great activities so that we know when October runs around, you've got this activity to do. And you always have something fun on a Friday to send the kids home with. But besides that, many hands make work light. If you can work with other people at your grade level, especially, and you can all agree, we'll all pitch in and teach these subjects together, and we'll have sponge activities that we can share, that makes life easier too, right? Working together, pooling your resources, those things help. But after a while, I noticed right around 2010, 2012, 2013, we were able to bring technology into the classroom more. And there were some new teachers who really only knew about sponge activities on the computer. And well, it sounds like I'm purposely presenting a conflict, but I can see how some jealousy might come about when the people that only know how to do sponge activities with a computer, their kids are eyeing the kids in the other class where, they're building something, they're making a craft, they're playing a game outside, they're talking to each other, they're having a good time. And the last thing I would like to say about sponge activities is that theater is like the best sponge activity at all. Kids can practice lines, they learn how to work together to present the scene, they're creating a world. I could go on about that for a long time. Theater is awesome. So let me check my notes again. Yeah, so you know what? We were just talking about kids playing video games, and especially again in 2012, 2013, 2014, when things were just getting going over there, I noticed, I could see it in the classroom, that certain students were playing games for a long time after school, maybe even into the evening, and maybe the parents weren't paying attention to it back in those days, because they thought, well, my kid's being quiet upstairs, so what's the problem? Well, sometimes the homework wasn't getting done, of course, and we're not having a conversation about whether homework is a valid activity right now, but you can imagine my side of the story is no one ever got better at piano by not practicing between the piano lessons. In order to get better at piano, you do have to practice. But anyway, they would come to school the following day and they were undernourished. They that not physically, they were fed or whatever, but they came to the classroom and they were zoned out. They could not pay attention. Their brains had been chemically altered. Their neurons were firing in a different way, and they weren't getting enough stimulation, right? There was not enough lights and beeps and things going off, little alarm bells, like you have when you have those video games. You get the endorphins going. It's just a classroom, okay? We're trying our best to get the work done so that we learn what we need to know so you're ready for next year. So let's see if there's anything else I want to say on the subject before we move on here. Yeah, I think I'm ready for my main message, which is going to be the basis of the next throw, which is that I want to present screens as a way of programming, yielding to other people to program the mind, okay, versus your own mind, where this is a tall order, but go screen free for a little while, see what it's like, confront the things that are on your mind, find out why you're thinking about those things, find out why you have emotions about those things. There's a lot to learn, but it is true if you everybody likes to be a couch potato, me too. Who doesn't like to zone out and have fun just zoning out, watching something cool on the computer? I'm right there with you. But at the same time, that's kind of like a Friday night trip to the local establishment to have a beer. Okay, it's a temporary 2 or 3 minute thing. You still have to come back on Monday morning and face the same challenges. For example, we're speaking, we're making an example up here. So let's see. Let's go to the tarot cam and see how we're going to set this up. All right. I want to know the difference between you programming your mind versus somebody else programming your mind. Oh, great. And also, when we compare those two stories, the big question is, so what? So I want to recognize that I just saw Harvey and Anchor Haven in the chat. I want to say thank you very much for dropping in. Sure, Harvey, and sure, Julia, if you are interested, I'm happy to throw some cards for you. For the moment, I'm going to tune out the chat so I can address what I got going here, but I'm happy that anyone could join me. I know it's quite early here in California. Okay. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear about programming our own minds. Can we rely on ourselves as individuals to do it? Can we trust somebody else to do it? Someone maybe we don't even know, and is not in the room with us, is not part of our lives. And what of this? What is the way forward when you have multiple people competing for your consciousness? I suppose some people would say it'd be easy just to throw in the towel, be a drone, but that's probably not the challenge you came for if you're listening to this podcast and you came down to earth. You're here to raise consciousness. You have to be aware of your own consciousness. You have to defend and protect your own consciousness. Let's see what the tarot world has to say. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear. Thank you. Just go for it right now. Yeah. There we go. Somebody else. And so what? Look at that guy sticking out. All right, let's have some fun. First up, how about you programming your own mind? Starting with affirmations and prayers and maintaining a perspective and using good manifestation habits, taking care of your body. Your body is a temple. Well, all right. I think the tarot world agrees with me. It's the Knight of Cups. He's the knight in shining armor. And when you program your own mind, you are the knight in shining armor for yourself. I love it. Next up. Yeah, sweet. It's the Queen of Swords. And she's the one who says, you're right. You were right. Oh, yeah, check that out. Don't forget the Three of Pentacles. That's a teamwork card. And in my book, the Three of Pentacles also represents cooperation with the spirit world. Hey, that's like a key thing. You can be in touch with the spirit world. And if you don't practice being in touch with the spirit world, you are yielding to the programmers to hijack that energy from you. You want to just give it away? I say, if that's what you want to do, that's like saying, hey, you know what? I don't care if people just drive by my house and party in my backyard. It's not going to bother me. And speaking of driving, you know what? I don't care if anyone just kind of grabs my car and takes it for a spin. Okay. Do you really want someone to do that? Protect your mind. First of all, be aware of your mind. Set up your boundaries. Don't give up your connection to the spirit world. Anyway, there's a lot of people who talk about that. And then I guess if you're asking how do you go about that, it all starts with meditation. There's your Four of Swords representing meditation. All right. What a great start, really strong start here. You're programming your mind. All right. Now, what if someone else is doing it? I mean, there's lots of good things about it. Let's face it. We train our soldiers with those games that train them in military skills. That's really important and valuable for soldiers. Okay. Not the kids at Columbine, right? Okay. Hey, this is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So that could suggest that when you let someone else share in the programming of your mind, you should vet the source. Okay, you could get lucky and use good programming. You have to use discernment, pick the right ones, make good decisions. Don't just let anybody in. And geez, for heaven's sake, please protect your children. Yeah, sweet. The magician, you're taking ideas and magically manifesting them into reality. So yeah, programming can help. You can ask anyone from the secret space program. These super soldiers, their brains were controlled and manipulated by other people to get them to do superhuman things. By the way, we can all do these superhuman things. We're just not aware of it. And by the way, we can go back up to these cards. You know, if you do the programming, you can have those powers. They're all just sitting there waiting for you. They're dormant. Activate them. Oh, you know, it sounds like the tarot deck is being a little bit more sympathetic to somebody else programming your mind. It sounds like the tarot deck is being, more sympathetic to the screens, because here's the Page of Cups, and he says there's a pleasant surprise. And, you know, that seems to be a theme with these tarot throws. There's something indefatigably positive about whoever's helping with these messages. You know, make a good choice about who you choose to make the magic happen in your mind, and you can be pleasantly surprised. Oh, yeah. But then there's the Four of Cups. And I guess it's a caution about the danger of just looking at the screen. So if you look at the person on the card, the person's looking at the three cups, they don't see that the spirit world is bringing us a fourth cup. So that could be like the downside, as opposed to your connection with the spirit world here. Your spirit world connection may be kind of remote here, but if you do it, for sure, you're going to have a direct tie. All right. So moving forward from here, not just like today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next decade, how about on into the age of Aquarius? So what, Breakaway Ray? All right, so let's see. Can I get these cards to fit? Let's see what the tarot world has to say. Oh, the Chariot card is back. Keep it going, keep moving. And, you know, I think I mentioned this yesterday. You have the two Sphinxes down below, and those are very powerful creatures. And if you can control those creatures, you could be quite powerful and cover a lot of ground. It sounds like people who get a lot done with their Chat GPT or other personal artificial intelligence assistant. Pretty soon, by the way, all of us are going to have our own personal artificial intelligences, and we are going to have to tame two animals, you know, the technological one and the one that we are born with. Hey, the High Priestess has shown up, and she's got her sacred knowledge. And if you look at the color scheme with the black and the white, again, it reminds me of these two Sphinxes down here, the black and the white. Let's move on here. The Knight of Pentacles. I'm going to go ahead and read the card to you. These knights are pretty positive. Hard work, productivity, routine, conservation, efficiency, responsibility. So I would say that hard work and routine are important. You know, when I was growing up in the 1970s and 1980s, you know, going to church every Sunday was a little bit of a chore. It was a little bit of a chore, but it was still something you had to do to develop yourself spiritually and get ready for heaven, right? So we are going to have to like go to church, as it were, learn about our spiritual side and maintain it, you know, with hard work, routine attention. I guess now is a good time to pause and talk about Jerry Seinfeld and transcendental meditation. So many of you are familiar with Jerry Seinfeld, his television show, The Seinfeld Show. I think that's what it was called. You'd think I would know for sure. It's such a, you know, a popular show. It's made millions and millions and millions of dollars. People watch it all the time. You know, classic things in our culture come from the Seinfeld Show. Anyway, I remember seeing an interview with Mr. Seinfeld where he said, you know, I was doing transcendental meditation in the morning, and I was also doing it in the evening. And then he found out like years and years later, after he became very, very successful, that to really do it, you were supposed to do it in the middle of the day also. And he rues and regrets that he did not pay attention. In the middle of the day, he was trying to imagine how much greater everything would have been had he meditated 3 times a day. Maybe that's a little bit tongue-in-cheek on his part. Anyway, You will have to maintain and do hard work to maintain your connection with the spirit world. But you can do it. You have control of those animals. You can put down the computer and get in touch with your spiritual side. And the last card is the Queen of Pentacles. She's the one that says, it's like grandma's house at the holidays. There's a lot of comfort here. Nurturing, practical, providing financially, a working parent. Let's face it, we all have to go to work, and the spirit world needs to be maintained also. Just like if you have a home or an apartment, it needs to be cleaned. If you got a yard, you got to do some maintenance. I kind of like what the cards had to say today, and I want to thank everyone for letting me go through my spiel and letting the tarot cards tell me a story. So now I'm going to look at the chat. I know I told Harvey we would get a reading for Harvey, and let's see what else everyone else has to say here. Yes. Oh, okay. Julia Akerhaven is traveling. Throw some cards for her. Oh, Harvey is in England also, it looks like, because I know Julia Akerhaven is also in England. All right. Hello. I see Andrea 54 Hector. Well, so let's start with Harvey. Okay, Harvey. Thanks for inviting me to throw some cards for you. It's a pleasure. Does the spirit world have any special messages for Harvey? Please show us what Harvey needs to see. Please tell us what Harvey needs to hear. Whoops. Something tells me that card's important to you. Well, let's put some more cards in. What Harvey needs to see. What Harvey needs to hear, please. Okay. I got some cards here, Harvey. Let's have some fun. See what's happening. This is all for entertainment purposes only. All right. The Five of Swords represents a tough dynamic, conflict, disagreements, competition, defeat, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullies, theft, and abusive relationships. Well, somebody is like got to win at all costs, maybe. And maybe the Four of Swords suggests someone ought to take it easy. Maybe someone's getting excited and upset, and they don't need to be as excited and upset as they are. Let's see what the Four of Swords reads here. Rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation, recuperation, retreat, renewal, solitude. I don't know, obviously, what the situation is, but it makes me think of, sometimes people in my life, they might have some things going on, and I need to allow them some space because they need to deal with their energy, and I don't want their energy in my field. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just making a suggestion. Whoa, dude. You're getting a lot of swords here, Harvey. This is just for fun and, for entertainment purposes only. The Three of Swords represents some kind of heartache. I haven't seen this card in a long time. It says heartbreak, suffering, grief, emotional pain, sorrow, hurt, divorce, loss, and depression. I'm hoping that I'm wrong with these cards, and if any of this is true, I'm so sorry for you. This feels like a tough situation. And phew. Speaking of swords, how about the Ace of Swords? You're speaking your truth. And I like when I'm looking at that hand, it looks confident. It looks authoritative. Okay, because when you have the truth, it's the pinnacle. It's the top of what you can see. Probably the most important sword of all of them, right? And I like this one. This guy has promise of a new beginning here. The Page of Pentacles reads, manifestation, financial opportunity, skill development, ambition, desire, diligence. So when it comes to skill development, I would say, I just want to share my own story. Some of you may be aware I only took up tarot cards 4 months ago, and now this is what I do, kind of. Not generating an income, but generating a good positive vibe, right? And sometimes there has to be an ego death because something that no longer serves has to go, and we have to start a new life. The other thing I'd like to point out is the financial opportunity. And far be it from me to make any kind of financial advice. Don't take advice from me. But sometimes we have to recognize that scaling back, taking a small hit, as it were, might lead to more financial stability. And that's really, in my opinion, what's important. Financial stability, not necessarily wealth and riches, where it goes up and down. You never know what your situation is. But how about financial stability? You don't have to think about finances because the universe is constantly providing for you. You've already worked that out with the universe. Meanwhile, you can apply your attention to other things. Okay. So you've got a lot of swords. It also indicates, a rich, exciting time in your life. Perhaps, if I'm right, I don't know. And the last card says, yay. Okay, it's the Queen of Swords. Now look at the swords. And she says, you were right. So whatever the deal was, Harvey, you were right the whole time. Let's read what it says here. Unbiased judgment, independent, clear boundaries, direct communication, clear-minded, perceptive. And again, the clear boundaries thing comes out to me again. Someone needs their space to chill out. It's going to hurt even being away from them. But you know what? I spoke my mind, and that's going to set me on a good path. I was right the whole time anyway. Harvey, I hope that message was helpful. At least it was somewhat entertaining, right? All right. Let's go now to Julia, who is taking a trip. She's traveling. Oh, the STARCARD. You're tuned in to STARCARD podcast. Thanks a lot for joining me. I'm Breakaway Ray. So let's shuffle some cards and wish Julia Anchor Haven a safe trip wherever she's going. I hope that her recent injury has healed since last we spoke. I know that's an important thing to be able to walk those long railway platforms and cross airports or however you're traveling. It's about time we get some portals accessible to the general public. I'm not joking around. I invite people to go to the description of today's podcast where there's the Stargate special with John Whitberg. It talks all about Stargates. And we've been using them since the 1800s. Yeah. All right. Let's keep shuffling here. This is for Julia Anchor Haven. Special travel messages. Whoops. Special travel messages. She's traveling. I'm sure she does a fair bit of astral traveling as well. All right. Here we go, Julia. Special message for Julia. She's traveling. All right. The chat looks pretty lively, but I'm looking at the cards. I'll check out the chat in a minute. Here we go, Julia. Hey. All right. Ace of Pentacles. Let's read it to you. You're off to a good start. Abundance, manifestation, opportunity, new career or financial opportunity, new venture, prosperity. The outlook is you're going to have a good trip, I imagine. Hey, the Page of Cups. You're going to have a happy surprise on this trip. So suggest the cards, in my opinion. Creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer, sensitivity, new love. All right. More about your trip. The Hierophant. He's the card all about learning, but also social acceptance. Let's read what's on the card here. Institutions, tradition, religion, society and its rules, social approval, conformity, forgiveness, bonded, mercy, wisdom, and trust. That's a lot of words. Let's see which words we should focus on. I'm sure these other cards are going to help. What's up? Okay, so it's a Three of Swords. The Three of Swords reads, heartbreak, suffering, grief, emotional pain, sorrow, hurt, divorce, loss, depression. Or could be your foot is still sore. Okay. Nevertheless, the Six of Cups here suggests that you're going to have happy memories on this trip. It says here, Six of Cups, familiarity, happy memories, reminiscing, childhood memories, innocence, joy, nostalgia. I like it when the word joy shows up. Whatever this pain is, it's got some good feelings following. Anyway, a closing message for Julia? It's the walk away card. Sometimes I say breakaway card. So it's the Eight of Cups. And there are 8 cups there, but it looks like one is missing. But no, they're all there. And this guy's walking away because it doesn't look like those cups work for him anymore. He's off to find other cups. So let's see, 8 of Cups, disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away, leaving behind. And hey, you know what? That's a good thing, I think, when you walk away from something and you're leaving it behind, and then you get the Temperance card, which is balance, because you're balancing your emotions and you're more aligned with your soul's path. So, whatever you're leaving behind, it feels like it's very healthy. I'd like to read you what it says on the Temperance card. Balance, harmony, moderation, patience, being sensible, purpose, finding meaning. So you're off on a good trip. I'm guessing there's some learning that's going to be taking place, maybe while you're on a long trip and you're running through some emotions, but eventually you're going to process them and you're going to have a happy trip. You can even have a happy memory of how you handle those emotions and save that happy memory and that confidence for the next time you encounter new emotions that you didn't realize you had that you have to deal with. And then you can go ahead and walk away from what doesn't serve you anymore and bring more balance into your life. Wow. Hey, Julia, I really appreciate how you come out to my podcast and you follow me. And thanks a lot for letting me read for you just now. That was a lot of fun. I hope it was entertaining if it wasn't exactly meaningful. Bon voyage. So let's see if I'm missing anyone here. Okay, so I see Andrea 54 Hector. I'm not sure I understand the question, and that would be my fault. I'm kind of new to this stuff, and I'm not totally down with the zodiac. I am a Capricorn, but I would like to go to the next one there. I see Johanna Lydia Lula. What's coming to me in love? Okay, so I'm not sure if you say Johanna or Johanna or Joanna. I'm going to say Johanna. So let's throw some cards for Johanna. And you're asking the tarot world, not me. I wouldn't know. But what's coming in to me in love? All right, so can we get a message for Johanna about what's coming to her in love? Thank you very much. Any messages for Johanna? What's coming in from love? Please show us what Johanna needs to see. Please tell us what Johanna needs to hear. Well, okay. We'll take those two. Any messages for Johanna about love? Any messages for Johanna? I would need your help, Tarot World. Please share with Johanna what she needs to know about love. So before I throw these cards, I just want to share a thought that came across my mind, because obviously we all think about that from time to time. And one of the messages I got during a psychic reading was, yo, Breakaway Ray, you need to take care of what's in your own mind before you're going to be able to share with somebody else. So I'm just sharing my own personal thing. We haven't revealed the cards yet. This is all for entertainment purposes only. I hope it's entertaining if it's not exactly accurate. So let's see what the cards have to say for Johanna. Okay, good. So, so the Two of Wands is a wonderful place to start because it means you've done all the planning, you've done all the research, and the universe agrees with you. You've got the green light. Go. You've got the green light. Go for it. I don't know. Maybe you have your eye on somebody. Okay. And you've done a little bit of poking around, the universe might agree with you. That's a good match. I'm just saying this based on one card. I'm having too much fun, perhaps. Oh, yeah? Here's the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, the Ace of Pentacles says abundance, manifestation, opportunity, new career or financial opportunity, new venture or prosperity. You got the green light, go. And there's something about some form of value, some kind of prosperity. This is the currency of what you value. I forget how Matthew Mornian said it. It'll come to me later. So anyway, this is the opening statement about love for you, Johanna. Next. Okay. All right. So the tarot world is paying attention. Here are the lovers. Let's read what is on the card. Yeah, coincidence? The lovers, love, harmony, relationships, union, partnerships, sexuality, passion, values, alignment, deep love, a choice, the strength of two together. I really like that line. Let me show you that picture, which it wasn't so blurry. Okay. Well, look at, for me, number 6 here, the lovers card is a card about also divine love from the spirit world. So there's like two messages going on here. Obviously, the spirit world is saying, yeah, we hear you're asking, Johanna, and we're throwing the lover's card to restate that we know what you're asking about. And also, there may be some real love involved here, some romantic love, perhaps, or at least the strength of two together. It's going to take some work. 8 of Pentacles, diligence, passion, high standards, apprenticeship, mastery, skill development, repetitive tasks. I've never been married, but I imagine a lot of people who have been married would say marriage is like another job. And then throw on top of that being a parent, now you got a couple of part-time jobs. But, once you're married, it's just the beginning. Sure, you're in love, and it takes work to keep the relationship growing. So if you're at the beginning of something, have high standards, aim high. Aim high or else. So here's the devil card. And the devil card, this is like not even a funny analogy because look, both cards have the same kind of balance to it. The larger figure behind the couple, and there's the couple. In the devil card, the two people have chains around their neck that they could easily take off, and then they would be free. But let's see what it says on the devil card. Shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, toxicity. You know what? I think that this is the difference between a happy romantic relationship and one that is not. It's how much you work at it. Make it simple like that. It's like a spectrum. You could be way over here. If you keep working at it, you don't work at it, it's going to slide over here. Just my point of view. Again, I don't have a lot of personal experience with this, but the cards seem to be on the path here. Okay, next up, it's the King of Swords. The King of Swords reads, head over heart. Okay, you want a romantic love, but the King of Swords says, have head over heart. Make a smart choice. I would say, there's always a lot of drama and excitement and adventure when you go after the bad boy. But, it's the bad boy. Okay. Head over heart. Discipline, truthful, honest, mental clarity, and authority. Let's face it, romance is wonderful, but it's a partnership over the long haul. And you have to work together and be honest as a unit. Okay, so let's move on. The Five of Swords is making another appearance. And I think the Five of Swords basically says there's going to be disagreements. There's going to be disagreements, especially if you're working hard at it, okay, and you're being honest with one another, there's going to be disagreements. All right. So I hope, Johanna, that this is a nice card to wrap it all up. Yeah. But you individually should be prepared to take on whatever comes at you. This is the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands is on a hill, and the Seven of Wands is on the hill, and he's taking on 6 other guys like he's Bruce Lee, right? So I guess, whatever the challenges are, when you're in a romantic relationship, the point is you can handle it. You can handle it. Well, Johanna, I hope that some of that was interesting, and I hope that some of it applies. I think that this whole thing was kind of spooky, but thank you very much, Johanna. I'm going to now take a look in the chat, see if there's anyone else. We've gone 51 minutes. Well, let's see. I don't really have anywhere to go. I love throwing the tarot cards. Let's see what's going on here. Let me slide up and check out. Yeah, took care of Johanna. Yes, Namira, you can ask a question. Sure. Oh, sound healing, Julia Anchorhaven. All right, enjoy. Yay, you're with your sister. There's your 6 of Cups, family memories. All right. Yeah, you're very welcome, Julia. Thank you. Okay, so Namira wants to know what's coming in for love. And then, yeah, now I see Andrea 54 Hector. I see your comment. Okay, thanks, Harvey. Well, yes, Harvey, yours was the first I did. So you may get to start at the beginning. It will be 3 throws in, I think. So the first throw was the welcome. The second one was challenging yourself to program your mind over letting someone else do it. And I think you were the first from the chat. But I'm going to go back up now and make sure I'm keeping track. Where did she go? Namira. Ask a question, and Namira asked, there it is. What do you see coming for me in love? You're really challenging me today, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a topic I explore often, but anyway, the tarot cards have no problem with it, as we just saw. So I invite the tarot cards to share any personal, individual messages for Namira about love, please. Is there something coming in for Namira? Please show us what Namira needs to see. What's coming in for love for Namira? Please tell us what Namira needs to hear. Please show us what Namira needs to see. Please tell us what Namira needs to hear. She wants to know about it. Love is heading our way. For Namira. Namira. Wow. Okay, Namira. Let's see what's happening. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. So the first card we have for Namira is the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles says saving money, security, conservation, scarcity, control, frugality. Sometimes I think this card gets a bad rap. He's called, stingy and Scrooge or whatever, but he also suggests, conserving your energy. Well, I'm so glad that you're here to join me. We just found the Ace of Pentacles again. I think this is like the 85th time the Ace of Pentacles showed up today. Let's read about the Ace of Pentacles. Abundance, manifestation, opportunity, new career or financial opportunity, new venture, prosperity. I think you've been saving up your energy for this new project. And since we're talking about love, maybe you're looking for a different kind of love this time around. You know, as we all get older and we progress through life, we have different needs and partnerships. Hey, the Wheel of Fortune suggests that you might get lucky here. Okay, but luck is luck, right? Luck is good luck, but also luck could be bad luck. Let's focus on the good luck. Another thing the Wheel of Fortune talks about is destiny or fate. But be careful. This is just a fun card reading. You know, you don't even know who I am. I wouldn't trust me. You know, what would I know about your destiny or your fate? But, you know, I like the idea of luck. Oh, dude, this guy again. So the devil, again, talks about releasing what you don't need anymore, letting go. Let's read what it says. Shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, toxicity. All right. A lot of the messages that I've been hearing lately, and I hope to go on the Typical Skeptic podcast this Friday and throw more tarot cards about it, is that, you know, it's important to release energies that no longer serve us to welcome in the new energies the universe wants to bring us. So if you want luck, okay, let go of what doesn't serve you. Isn't there something that's like on your mind, it really bothers you, something maybe in the last relationship that really troubles you? Well, let's stop a second and say, how much is this really part of my life now and going forward? Can I let it go? Or am I really gonna keep perseverating and thinking about this? You know, this is like the kickball game from second grade. Do you really care about that anymore? Let's go ahead and be a new person now. Ugh, I'm trying so hard to be positive, but this card represents conflict. I'll read what it says on the card, but let's take it mildly. This is supposed to be about love. Conflict, disagreements, competition, defeat, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullies, theft, and abusive relationships. Well, you know, just the idea of winning at all costs. Look at this guy. He won the contest and he's got all the swords, but you know what? He's got no friends. Those guys are walking away from him because that guy was not cool. So did you really want the swords? Were the swords that important? Let it go. Okay. That's going to bring you the luck that you're looking for. Can you tell I'm trying to be real positive here? Okay, so let's get to the positive final ending. Yay. Okay, the Three of Wands says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So, you know, before you have guests come to your house, might as well clean that house. You know, someone might come knocking on your door, clean that house. Yeah, Three of Wands, let's go to Four of Wands. We were just talking about the house. This is the homecoming card. Yeah, we're getting some momentum here. Celebration, joy, harmony, marriage, home, community, homecoming. Oh, yeah, nice. This is a nice ending. And here is the Empress. Okay, so abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, and action. You know, I think the tarot card's trying really hard to say something to you there. Conserve your energy, use it wisely as you build your new project. If you're going to get lucky, you're going to have to clean house, and you're going to have to think about what's really important and what you really want to hold on to, because some of this stuff you can let go. Okay, and you know, if you keep working at it, you know, you think every day I'm going to make myself presentable and attractive. Whether you're a male or a female, you know, you make yourself presentable and attractive so that you might catch someone's eye, okay? And eventually, there will be a homecoming, and you'll be sitting pretty like the Empress. Hey, that was a lot of fun and also a lot of work. It was a nice challenge. Thank you very much for letting me read. Let's put these cards aside and see how I got quite a crowd, quite a lot of chat going. And we're hitting the 1 hour mark. All right, so let's see what's going on with the chat. Yeah, there you go, Namira. I hope I did a good job. So Andrea 54, you want to ask about love. Okay, good, Harvey. Right on. Yeah, you're welcome, Namira. And spirit guides, you need to know for the rest. Got it. Okay, I'll come back to you, Andrea. All right, great, Namira. I'm glad something rang true there. Well, Harvey, you're so welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate the positive feedback. Lets me know I'm on the right track. You too, Namira. Thank you. So I think I'm going to take care of Andrea 54 Hector. We're talking about love and what Andrea 54 Hector's spirit guides want Andrea 54 Hector to know for the rest of the month. All right. Very good. I'm going to make this one the last one, ladies and gentlemen, because we already hit the hour mark. So let's take care of Andrea 54 Hector. Please show us what Andrea 54 Hector needs to know. Please tell us what Andrea 54 Hector needs to hear. Are there any messages from Andrea 54 Hector's spirit guides for this month? Is there a message about love? Please show us what Andrea 54 Hector needs to see. Please tell us what Andrea 54 Hector needs to hear. Any messages from spirit guides about this month? Any messages about love? And I'm thinking romance, right? That's like the main thing. I should throw cards for myself sometimes, see what's going on. That's a little self-deprecating humor. This is all about Andrea 54 Hector. Here we go. Please show us what Andrea 54 Hector needs to see. Please tell us what Andrea 54 Hector needs to hear. Any messages from spirit guides? Any messages about love? Thank you. All right. I thought that would. I'll do Andrea 54 Hector, and then I'll do my Aloha throw. All right. Oh. All right, Andrea 54 Hector. Here's the Tower card. Let's read what it says on the Tower card. That's quite exciting. Sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, disaster, awakening, release, sudden insight. I hate to get too excited about this, but when you look at the Tower card, those two figures on either side of the tower, those are people jumping out of the tower. I mean, I'm not focusing on what's gruesome or anything. I like the sudden change aspect of the tower. Something exciting is about to happen. You know, people go on roller coasters because they like it, you know, the little charge it gives them. We're starting out with a charge here. All right. And the good news is that it's all being guided divinely. You're being guided from the rough waters over here to the calmer waters. And it's not in this version of the tarot deck, but I think there's a tarot deck version where there's actually a ghost in the boat. And that's the spirit world, and it's leading you to calmer waters, only you don't know it. You know, you don't see the ghost in the boat. Okay. Well, this is pretty exciting, Andrea 54 Hector. So I'm seeing that there's a sudden change. You're being guided divinely. These would be your spirit guides, right? To calmer waters. So even though it may seem like it's way too exciting, okay, it doesn't need to be this exciting. It is all part of your spirit guides' plans with you. That's the plan you made before you came down here, okay? And now you appear to be at a crossroads. So the Two of Swords shows that you have all the tools you need. You have both weapons, okay? But you're blindfolded, so you don't see everything. It suggests that you don't have all the information, which means you don't know which way to go yet. You probably barely see where the paths are, what the opportunities are, you know, what might be presenting itself to you. But the cards suggest that there's going to be a change. It's for the better, and you get to make a decision soon. So collect data and start making an inventory of what it is you need to know to make the best decision. We're talking about love. Love. Well, let's check out the next sentence. All right, the Nine of Pentacles. She is the fruits of your labor card. Fruits of your labor, rewards, luxury, self-sufficiency, financial independence. Yeah, who doesn't love the Nine of Pentacles? All right, and the Knight of Wands. And if you look at the picture of the Knight of Wands, you know, the pyramids are just underneath the galloping horse. That's old school Egyptian spirituality. The Knight of Wands reads, energy, passionate, inspired action, adventure, fearless, impulsiveness. You know, if I came across an energy that was welcome and had a lot of luxury to it, I might go after it with enthusiasm. If I see someone who's got a lot of what I value, again, carpe diem, you only live once. Go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You know, I'm going to interrupt right here and say one of my favorite aphorisms from about 25, 30 years ago. I wrote this myself. You know, nothing dispels infatuation like getting to know someone. You know, if I had a crush on someone at a distance, I guarantee you that, you know, first of all, I would charge after it and pursue it, because the worst that can happen is I can learn that I don't like the person, and then I can be relieved of that infatuation. Yeah, you know, that's one thing I do know is about infatuations. Hey, here's the Justice card. I like that. And also the Nine of Wands. I almost don't know where to go with this. Your spirit guides and the tarot world are saying something about there's a luxurious energy that you should charge toward because it's the right thing to do. And you might end up in the long run like the Nine of Wands, but you're still going to be the Nine of Wands who's a strong character. I like to call the Nine of Wands the third base coach. He's been around the block. He's got a couple of battle scars, but, you know, the scars actually look cool now. And he's got a lot of wisdom. He knows when, you know, when to use the tools, when to use his energy. Otherwise, he just lets other people wear themselves out. So there's a certain amount of wisdom that comes through it. If I were to say something about love, you know, better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. You know, that's a great experience to have. There's someone filled with whatever you valued. You went after it. It was the right thing to do. It brought you many experiences. And by the time it was all over, it was wise and it made you wise. And it was an enriching experience. Yeah, you live life while you have it. Any day could be your last. So make every day your first. Okay, here's the Page of Swords. And he says you're speaking your truth. New ideas, curiosity, thirst for knowledge, new ways of communicating, restless, mental energy. And the last card, yay, something after my heart, which is work ethic. Seven of Pentacles, long-term view, hard work, perseverance, diligence, sustainable results, investment. Sudden change is upon you. It's being divinely guided. You're going to have a choice to make. Perhaps this is about love, but there's an energy of luxury that you should charge forward because it's the right thing to do, not just for you, but for everyone involved. And even though you might get some bumps and bruises, you're still going to be in a good position. You will have an enriched life and you'll acquire wisdom. And speaking of being correct and being on the right path, these new ideas and new ways of communicating you can develop over time, and it'll be of value to you as you do that. So, hey, I hope that was helpful. I hope it was entertaining. I'm going to quickly check the chat. Before I do, I want to say I'm sorry I won't be taking any more individual chats today, but keep an eye on my podcast, right? Subscribe to StarCard Podcast, and I will post and let you know when I'm ready to go online. You can ask again. You can go to the description and you can check my email and you can request a reading. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of free readings I have to give away before I can start, quote unquote, charging for them. But I'm still having fun. I don't really need to be paid. That's why I'm doing this right now. And I want to thank everyone for coming out to the show and participating. So I'm going to send you off with my aloha talks. You know, everyone who's tuned in, everyone who tunes in later, what are the messages the spirit world wants to send us as we go on to have our nice day? So let me check the chat before I do that. Hey, well, Andrea 54 Hector, that's got to be one of the nicest things I've seen. I really appreciate your comment. I appreciate everyone's comments. I'm glad I can be of help. You know, I like the chance to lift up everyone's day. I miss not being able to do it in the classroom. So thanks for joining me today. So let's shuffle these cards and send ourselves off with a nice aloha message. Thank you, Tarot Deck, for the great messages. Obviously, you helped our friends in the chat today. Yeah, this is one of my obviously one of my favorite cards. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So you may not see what the opportunity is coming your way, but work for the opportunity that you want because it's coming your way. You're generating the energy. You're heading toward that path. Please show us what we all need to see. Please tell us what we all need to hear so that we can go on having a nice day until the next time we get to meet. Thank you. Obviously, those tarot cards were dealt special for all of us today. Maybe we have one more special throw for us. As we say, aloha. I think the best way to get up in Hawaii. Here we go. Aloha. 3 syllables. I think we're going to go 3, 3, and 3. Because 3, 3, 3 is a very spiritual number. It reminds me of the High Priestess card, even though her number is 2. It is a third card in the deck, 0, 1, 2. There we are. Thanks a lot. Cool. Aloha. Hey, public recognition with the 6 of Wands. Why don't we read what it says on the card? Public recognition, victory, progress, self-confidence. Yeah, you know what? If you joined our podcast here at StarCard this morning, we can march forward proudly into the rest of the day. It reminds me of way back in the 80s when we used to do this. We used to get up way before dawn and go down to the beach and boogie board and then come back for school and the rest of our day. But we already had like our full day. We were just in the ocean. So yeah, let's march forward. We got the Queen of Pentacles energy going. There's a lot of love in our room today, in our video chat room. Nurturing, practical, providing financially, a working parent. Okay, we are going to be comfortable. We are working for our livelihoods, and we can appreciate and be grateful for the job that helps us put food on the table. And don't forget, we already had a great time together. You know, this was better than going to the movies, hanging out and interacting together. And we got the whole day ahead of us. Here's the Page of Swords. Here at StarCard Podcast, we shared new ideas, curiosity. We have a thirst for knowledge. This is a new way of communicating for me, for sure. So, and there's some mental energy involved. That pretty much describes our morning together, ladies and gentlemen. How nice. There we go. I want to make sure you see these pictures. Hey, the 6 of Pentacles is all about giving and receiving. Giving, receiving, sharing wealth, generosity, and charity. We're all here to help each other out. Here's Judgment. The Judgment card talks about taking old energies that no longer serve and swapping them out for new ones. So there are things we have to let go. That's been a theme of ours this morning. So let's see what it says on the card. judgment, rebirth, inner calling, a new phase, absolution, reckoning, awakening, redemption, forgiveness, and mercy. Well, those are all angelic terms. And there you have the angel blowing a trumpet, calling forth all the spirits from the world. It's giving and receiving. We've been talking to the tarot cards with the spirit world. I'm supposed to turn this into a positive. Okay, 5 of Cups. So this guy is bummed out. And he's not just a goth wearing black, right? He's got 5 cups, but he's only looking at the cups that are knocked down. And he's not paying attention to the 2 cups that are standing up behind him. Those guys are fine. He's got all 5 cups. Still got all 5 cups. Okay. I wouldn't be so hung up on the 3 that are down. You still got 2 cups that are standing up, and also you could pick up the other cups. Regret, failure, disappointment, pessimism, loss, grief. Well, it's hard to be light about this, but these both talk about swapping energies, giving and receiving, getting rid of the old, bringing in the new, rebirth, awakening. And this one represents someone who's accentuating disappointment. I think we just have to recognize that, we're here on Earth and there's going to be disappointments. We planned it. Okay. We plan to come in and deal with these things. And our job is to learn how to turn around and look at, what we've got behind us, which is the spirit world. The tarot cards help me do that. Okay. So let's go see the last sentence. Tarot cards are working hard to send us a message today. All right. More work ethic. All of us, we all have to work at our communication with the spirit world if we want to be reborn into a new person. Okay. 8 of Pentacles, diligence, passion, high standards, apprenticeship, mastery, skill development, repetitive tasks. Yes, praying every day is a repetitive task, but if you want things to change, pray. Hey, Page of Pentacles. Yeah, if you can be this guy inside, but then every day approach it like this guy, I'm working every day at something I really care about. And every day you say, wow, this is the best thing to work on. You know what they say about some extraterrestrials? They want to work. They don't get paid for it. That's the fun that they have is, let's do a job together. Let's go on a mission together. Let's help each other out. So Page of Pentacles, manifestation, financial opportunity, skill development, ambition, desire, and diligence. I think both of those words both of these cards said the word diligent. Yeah. And then, the 7 of Swords represents that something is hidden. It sounds like the message is that there is a spirit world. It's hiding, but you can work at it and start a new life there in the spirit world. I would say, people who might be tuning into this podcast or Julia Anchorhaven's wellness podcast or Rob Khalil's Typical Skeptic podcast, or even Saint Olga 69, I better stop listing podcasts because, I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. You're already developing your mind. You're already developing a different look at the world, and you're discovering a new you with new energies. And all you have to do is give and take with the spirit world, and you can work around the disappointment, work around it to a new opportunity which is hidden. Anyway, I hope that was a fun, relevant message. I tried my best to interpret it. I have to thank the tarot cards. The tarot cards knew what I was supposed to say. They know what the message is. And maybe you're hearing the message, even if I'm not saying it in such a spelled out manner. Boy, this was good practice, though. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, I invite you to. And thanks so much for being respectful in the chat. This is kind of like, thanks for being so respectful in the chat, because it's kind of like a back to school night presentation, and trying to get some information across. So I also want to hear what everyone in the audience has to say and make sure I help everybody. So let's see if I've got anything else. No, it looks like I've received all the messages. And so I'm going to say thank you very much. I hope everyone has a good day. And don't forget to subscribe to StarCard Podcast. keep an eye out for Friday night at Typical Skeptic Podcast. I might be on the show. Okay, going to say goodbye now. All right. Have a good one.